You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what quantum manifestation is and how to use it to shape your reality. This isn't based on vague affirmations or fluffy ideas, but grounded in ancient wisdom, sacred geometry, neuroscience, and quantum mechanics. I'm going to break this down into 5 powerful truths about quantum manifestation that will allow you to not only enter the field, but to actually command it. Truth number 1. The quantum field is real. All right, let's start with the field, because without it, manifestation makes no sense. The quantum field is the invisible energy matrix that connects all of reality. It's been called many names throughout history: the ether by the ancient Greeks, the Akashic Records by the mystics. It's what Neville Goddard referred to as the 4th dimension, and it's encoded in sacred geometry patterns, like the flower of life. Modern science calls it the unified field. This field isn't some abstract spiritual concept, it's the foundation of quantum mechanics. Everything you see, touch, feel, and think is made of energy vibrating at different frequencies. Every atom, every photon, every thought is an excitation in this unified field. In other words, everything in existence actually sits in this field, all connected across one super mainframe of information, where each individual piece of the system actually affects the whole. So how does this relate to manifestation? Well, the field doesn't respond to your words, your vision board, or your wish list. It actually responds to your signal. And that signal is what we call your state of being. Your state of being is the combination of what you think, how you feel, and the energy you carry throughout your body. It's your emotional tone, your beliefs, your unconscious patterns, and the level of organization and coherence between your heart, your mind, and your nervous system. So if you feel fearful, frustrated, or doubtful, even if you say you're abundant, the field receives the fear, not the words. That becomes your broadcast signal. And the quantum field reflects back to you a life that matches that frequency. If you say, I want to meet someone amazing, but underneath you're still feeling unworthy or expecting disappointment, then the field is going to reflect that expectation. So you keep attracting emotionally unavailable people, not because you consciously want it, but because that's the emotional baseline you're broadcasting. Or maybe you affirm, money flows to me easily, but deep down you feel anxious every time you check your bank account. That anxiety, not your affirmation, is the dominant signal, and the field keeps delivering experiences that match it. Surprise bills, missed opportunities, inconsistent income. This is why you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, and the field reflects your dominant signal. Truth number 2. Your attention collapses reality. Now let's talk about the science behind this. It's called the observer effect. In 1801, physicist Thomas Young conducted what became one of the most important experiments in quantum physics, the double-slit experiment. Here's what he did. He set up a simple screen with 2 narrow slits and fired a beam of light, photons, through them. If light behaved like little particles, imagine like little BBs or bullets, you'd expect them to go through one slit or the other, and you'd see 2 clear stripes appear on the back wall, one behind each slit. That's how particles behave. They move in straight, isolated lines. But light isn't just a particle. It can also behave like a wave, and waves act differently. Think of what happens when you drop a stone into water. Waves ripple outward in expanding circles. And now imagine 2 stones dropped near each other. The ripples overlap, and where the peaks of the waves meet, they amplify. And where a peak meets a valley, they cancel out. This creates what's known as an interference pattern. That's exactly what scientists saw when no one observed the experiment. The light created a series of stripes, an interference pattern, on the back wall, not 2 lines, which means each photon was somehow going through both slits at once, acting like a wave and interfering with itself. Now here's the really shocking part. When scientists placed a detector to observe which slit the photon actually went through, everything changed. The photons stopped acting like waves and behaved like individual particles. The interference pattern vanished, and now there were only two lines on the wall, just like bullets. The only thing that changed it was being observed. So what does that tell us? That conscious observation changes the outcome of reality. Simply watching caused the wave of infinite potential to collapse into a specific particle form. In the context of your life, your attention, your focused awareness acts like that observer. It tells the quantum field which version of reality to bring into form. Most people don't realize how powerful their focus is. They unconsciously dwell on lack, or fear, or failure, and that becomes the reality they keep collapsing into. But if you can shift your attention to a new outcome and align with it emotionally and energetically, you begin to collapse a different reality. The quantum field is responding to the quality of your focus. You are not a passive participant. You're an observer with real creative authority. Truth number 3. All versions of you already exist. Now this brings us to the concept of superposition. In quantum physics, a particle exists in all possible states simultaneously until it's observed. Only once it's measured does it choose a single state, and you too exist in superposition. There is a version of you who is abundant, a version of you who is confident, a version of you who is joyful, healthy, peaceful, powerful. All of these versions already exist as possibilities in the quantum field. So your job is not to create that version of yourself. Your job is to align with it. And when you think, when you feel, and when you act from the identity of that version of you, you collapse the wave function into that reality. You move from potential to actuality, and you shift from possibility to a new dimension of yourself. This is what identity work is all about. So you're not just changing your thoughts, you're tuning yourself, like a radio, to the frequency of the version of you who already has what you desire. And just like a radio doesn't create the station, it simply tunes into it. You don't force outcomes into existence through hustle and grind and control. You tune into the version of who you already are that lives there right now. That's not to say you can just think your way to a new reality. Action is an essential part of the process. But the question you want to ask yourself is, who is taking the action? The version of you that is aligned with the outcome you want, or the old version that has been stuck in a fixed reality? Truth number 4. You don't wait and wish, you align and act. So let's take this deeper. Quantum manifestation is not about passively sitting on your couch hoping for miracles. It's about alignment and inspired action. When you're truly aligned, when your thoughts and your emotions and your body are in coherence, you begin to receive what I call guidance in motion. You start to get nudges, you feel pulls, you get ideas and insights. A person calls, an opportunity shows up. Your job is to act on those promptings. But the difference is, your action is no longer driven by fear or scarcity or control. It's not hustle. It's not trying to prove your worth. It's not reacting to your old identity. Aligned action flows from trust, from embodiment, and from wholeness. So if you already had the outcome you desired, how would you be feeling? How would you be thinking? And how would you be acting? For example, if you had already created $1 million, would you be worrying about money? Would you be thinking more expansively about the possibilities of your life? Would you be complaining less? These are all things you can shift right here, right now, regardless of the fact that the money hasn't materialized in your bank account yet. When you act from the identity of the version of you who already has it, both you and your action become magnetic. You create resonance or activation in the field which attracts synchronicities, relationships, and momentum. In this state, life begins to feel orchestrated. You're not forcing, you're following, and the path reveals itself as you walk it. Truth number 5. A single decision can shift your entire reality. So how do you start shifting into quantum manifestation? You begin with the power of decision. It's a core principle in my work. The moment you decide who you are, not just intellectually, but energetically, you begin to rewire your experience of reality. A real decision is not trying. It's not hoping. It's not waiting for external proof. It's an inner knowing that says, this is who I am now. And when you decide for a new reality, that you are a healthy, a wealthy, a successful person, 3 incredible things begin to happen based on that new decision. Number 1, you begin accessing new thoughts and ideas that, when you take action upon them, will lead to producing the desired result. Number 2, you actually start to perceive your environment and your reality differently. There's a part of your brain, it's called the reticular activating system. That's the part of your brain that notices the same car that you just bought everywhere else on the road. Well, what neuroscience tells us is that 88% of your perceptive reality is actually filtered out, meaning you don't notice it. The 12% you notice is always in alignment with what you believe, or in this case, what you've decided. When you make a new decision, you start to literally notice reality differently. You see money-making opportunities. You see health-creating opportunities. You find successful ways to create successful outcomes. Number 3, when you make a new decision, all of life corresponds to meet that manifestation. In other words, you manufacture coincidences and synchronicities that begin to chart the course to your new reality. Someone calls you, you notice an opportunity, and you follow the inspiration. A resource shows up at the last minute which you needed. All of life begins to conspire to reorganize a reality around you that matches the new you, and that you're being as a result of your new decisions. So I want you to try this right now. Take a moment, close your eyes, visualize a future where your desire is already fulfilled, and then ask yourself, who am I in this reality? How do I think? How do I walk into a room? How do I treat others? Start making the small changes in how you think, where you let go, and how you act to embody that version of you now. You don't wait to become them to change your life. You become them, and then life catches up. This is quantum entrainment. This is embodiment. And this is creation through coherence. This is the gateway to quantum manifestation. Type I create my own reality. I decide who and what I want to be. So listen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, leave me a comment, and the only thing that I ask is, subscribe and hit that bell icon. It's the only thing I ask, because it's the way that this show can grow. It's the greatest sign of thanks.